Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for the Cheerful Ghost Roundtable. The Cheerful Ghost Roundtable is an open discussion with people from the Cheerful Ghost community about awesome stuff in video games, brought to you by cheerfulghost.com. And we're going to start things up like we always do, talking a little bit about what we're playing and what we've been watching, starting with Script, what you've been playing, and what are you watching?
I have been playing Rocket League. I keep playing Rocket League, and I just today bought into the early access for Paragon Epic's third-person MOBA. I bought into it on the PS4, and I've been liking that. It's been very nice. Rocket League, of course, is very nice. There's a tournament going on. Actually, sign-ups for a tournament right now, and my teammates are nowhere to be found, so I'm waiting for them to sign up so that we can start kicking maybe some ass. Probably not, but we're pretty good, but we're not, like...
Now, I'm kind of unfamiliar with Rocket League. What kind of a game is that?
It is it's a sports game. It's like soccer, but you play it with cars. So you're driving it's third-person camera perspective, and you're driving a car, controlling a car in an arena, and it's got physics, and you've got boost to give you rocket power. You can use it to fly in the air and hit the ball, do all kind of crazy things. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Rocket League is really hot in indie games right now. Like on the PlayStation and the PC, it's pretty much blown up. It's a crazy concept too, with its car soccer. It's really cool. It's a really cool idea.
Yeah, it really
That's cool because regular soccer is kind of boring. So
yeah,
but I imagine more fun with rocket-powered cars.
Except the entire world doesn't agree. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean,
I'm
not a huge fan of it. But...
Right.
What about you, White?
I've been watching
sports ball.
Oh, what'd you say, Chris?
Oh, I was commenting about what I've been watching. I haven't been watching anything, I don't think. A lot of YouTube videos. Cats. I've been watching videos of cats.
Haven't we all?
Lots of cats.
Meow. White Slim, what you been watching, playing?
Well, what I've been watching, I've been going through Daredevil Season 2 on Netflix. And my wife is being good about not letting me just binge it all in one night. Space it out, savor it a little bit. But it's good. It's good. I really like the show. As for what I've been playing, I'm still working through Fallout 4 here and there. I also recently picked up Stardew Valley and have already sunk, I think, 50-plus hours into that one. Because it's so much fun, and it's really addicting. And it has that really dangerous, just one more day kind of like gameplay. Yeah. And then you look over and it's midnight and you're like, I gotta go to bed for real. But it's so much fun. It's just basically an improved Harvest Moon. It's like all the stuff that you really liked about like the old Harvest Moon 64, the Super Nintendo one, and just more of that. It's so much fun. And it's also doing ridiculously well on Steam.
Yeah. No, I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about that, and you could sort of give kind of like more of a review a little later in the show, because for me, like, I'm really interested in playing the game. I would have picked it up already if it had a Mac client, but it doesn't yet, so I'm kind of waiting for that. But it definitely seems like a game that's that kind of like that just one more day kind of a game, and yeah, that looks really great. Someday they're going to add co-op, which is interesting. I think that should be really cool. But yeah, it looks really good. What else?
Well, that's pretty much it. The Fallout 4 expansion hit, and I've just started to scratch the surface of that one. But I know we have an entire Fallout 4 episode in the works here. So I will try and save most of the discussion for that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. So what I've been playing is Hearthstone. So we're pre-expansion. The next expansion is probably going to be coming out next month sometime. The Old Gods. It was revealed. I had a special Hearthstone Dailies for Ghost episode where Dan and I talked about the new Old Gods expansion. We talked a lot about kind of what we think about some of the cards that are out right now. That was really fun. So check Cheerful Ghost for that if you wanted to watch my kind of our thoughts on that. and I've got about 4,200 gold saved. So by next month, I should have more than or up to 50 packs saved. So so I should have a fair amount of Old Gods cards to open. And so I plan on doing a special Hearthstone Dailies for Ghost episode where I open all my packs and squee with delight or rage at the fact that I did or didn't get anything good, which will be really fun. I've done that so far. We did it for the grand tournament, and then I did a pack opening with Dan where we opened Goblins versus Gnomes packs, which are now rotating out of standards. So it should be really fun to do the Old Gods. I've also been playing World of Warcraft. I know this might seem strange, but because I haven't really played World of Warcraft too much. I think I played up to level 6 on the starter edition. But what happens is in Hearthstone, Blizzard made it so that you can if you play up to level 20 in World of Warcraft, you unlock a special hero in Hearthstone. And I'm like level 10 right now in World of Warcraft, and the starter edition takes you all the way up to level 20, so you don't even have to have a paid World of Warcraft account. You can just play World of Warcraft up to 20, so I leveled up.
The first hit is free, man.
Exactly. It's a fun... World of Warcraft is fun, but it's not really my thing. If this caught me back in my early 20s, I would have no life. But as it stands right now, I've kind of played the MMO. I played Lord of the Rings Online. I've played Guild Wars 2. This is very similar to those games, or those games are very similar to World of Warcraft, however you want to look at it. It's great. But will I continue on with it? Probably not. Will I pay for it? Probably not. It's not like addicting me. It's more like, oh, I got to keep going back because I really want to get that free hero, So
yeah. Now it's been a while since I've played WoW, but getting to level 20 was not hard. So I don't think it should take very long to do that.
No, it's not hard. It just takes time, just takes time to, basically I think all the way up to, someone online said up to level 15, just do the quests, so that's what I'm doing, just doing the quests. And then after that, just do some dungeons or raids or whatever on my own, and I think that sounds fine. Mm-hmm. So I've got to figure out what raids to do after 15, but yeah, that should be really good. And I started as an undead warlock, so I'm summoning stuff, and I really enjoy that a lot. So that's been really fun. And I also got a review key of Punch Club, which is a game which is basically kind of like a Rocky simulator or a Karate Kid simulator game, I guess. And you can get it on iPhone, Steam, Windows, Mac, and Linux, or Android. I'm going to do a review for it soon, and it's a really interesting game. I mean, you don't actually do any of the punching, you just kind of manage your statistics, and it's kind of like a tycoon game. And then once you come into fighting, your stats just kind of take over, and then it's a really interesting kind of game. I might do a little bit of a let's play with my review of it, but I really like it. I think it's really cool. It's a cool game. If you're looking for a game to play on your phone or a really fun, just kind of game where you manage resources and stuff, I'd recommend checking out Punch Club. So
I have a question. Can you sweep the leg?
You know what? It's funny. There are a ton of attacks. I don't know if sweep the leg is one of them. I'll have to check. It's not a bad idea, though. So I wanted to move. Oh, and what I've been watching is I decided to go back before the new Star Wars Episode 7 comes out, which we're all getting the Blu-ray, and I'm going to watch that and watch all the special features. So I decided to go back and watch some old J.J. Abrams, well, they're not old, but some J.J. Abrams movies, specifically Star Trek 2009 and Star Trek Into Darkness. And originally after Star Trek Into Darkness, I watched that. I was kind of disappointed because it was sort of a retelling of Wrath of Khan, and that sort of disappointed me. It was kind of swept up in sort of the internet negativity around that. But after rewatching 2009 Into Darkness, I think they're both really solid. In fact, I'd put Into Darkness up there pretty high from what it was. A lot of my earlier complaints about Into Darkness, I think, actually in a later rewatchings right next to Star Trek 2009 were kind of a little bunk. For instance, one of my earlier complaints about Into Darkness was I didn't like that right away. You guys have seen it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so spoilers to Star Trek Into Darkness, if I have to even talk about that. But right away in the beginning of the movie, they take the Enterprise away from Kirk, and that bugged me so much. It was like, you just give it to him, and then you take it away from him. And then there are a few other... But it makes sense with the character. It makes sense with the world that would happen. It's not like he doesn't get it back quick enough because it's a J.J. Abrams movie. Everything happens really fast. But I think they're solid movies. I think my only critique of both films is the same, which is I think that when you have a movie that's essentially an action movie at heart, I think replayability, rewatchability goes down a little bit. But they're paced well. You're on the edge of your seat, and they're a good time. You know what I mean? But I think I really one thing I do like about the old Star Trek films is that they took their time a little bit more. Therefore, I think they're maybe a bit more watchable for my style, but you got to keep modern audiences in mind. But I think they're solid movies, and I don't really. And if you sort of take Into Darkness and kind of compare it to Episode 7, Star Wars, you can sort of see what J.J. Abrams, his kind of like recipe for rebooting a franchise, right? Which is take elements that you love from the old stuff, kind of remix the old scripts and stuff, and then layer it on with some new elements, and you can kind of see that happening Into Darkness and then Episode 7. So just kind of cool. I like those very much. So anyways, let's move on to Stardew Valley. Tim, I'd like you to sort of branch out a little bit more about that. I had some questions for you about that.
Okay.
Because I wanted to know more about it, because I was hoping someone would write a review on Cheerful Ghost so I could read it, but I haven't really read one yet. And I've read what people on PC Gamer thought, but I'm curious, what is the cool thing for you in Stardew Valley? Like, why do you keep playing it?
It is a very kind of relaxing game. There's really no timetable that you have to do anything on. So I started my first character was basically just to try the game out. I was not trying to do anything optimally. My farm looked like crap because I just had stuff scattered out everywhere because it's like, oh, I unlocked a recipe to build something. Just build it wherever I can, just to try it out. And then after I finished the first spring, got used to the mechanics and how everything worked, I started over, and this time I put a little forethought into doing stuff. But there was really no reason I had to do that other than just my own personal satisfaction. It's not like, if I missed anything in spring, I couldn't get that the next time spring comes around. There's no end to the game. There's no rushed timeline. If you don't do things in a certain amount of times, you don't lose access to stuff. It's really relaxing. Sometimes, I'll try and squeeze everything into one day that I possibly can. Other days, I'll just screw around on my farm and, decorate my house or something. The days are, personally, I think that they're balanced really well, and that the days go by pretty quick, but they're long enough that you feel like you get a real chance to, do stuff without having to rush around. Pretty much a lot of Harvest Moon mechanics are kind of lifted, refined a bit, and then dropped into Stardew Valley. One thing that was kind of annoying in some of the old Harvest Moon games is that you couldn't walk through your crops. So you had to plant them in these specific.
Oh yeah, that was.
Those were in a group of 9, but with one missing from one side, so you could get the middle block. In the Stardew Valley, most of your crops you can just walk through, unless they're unless it's a vineyard and they're supposed to be on a fence where it makes sense that you can walk through it, But just lots of little features like that, where they just ironed out some things to make it a lot more user friendly is really great. There's tons of stuff to do in the game. There's fishing, mining, farming. There's a bunch of stuff to do with the townsfolk. Bunch of little scenes that you'll see played out, randomly depending on your relationships with different people.
I have a question. One of the things about games like this that kind of stresses me out is that I have to do something at a certain time where I can never do it again, right? It's gone forever. Is there anything like that where I have to make sure that I have to talk to this person at a particular time, or that it's gone forever, or can I come back around and cultivate the relationship, or can I, are there any explicit you're screwed scenarios or you missed this scenarios?
There are not. The only thing I could think of that might be an issue along that lines is there is stuff that's tied to what season it is. So if you missed something in the spring or the summer and now it's fall, you'll have to wait till the next spring or summer. But it will come back around. It's not like you'll permanently lose access to.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
So, and there's kind of like a little storyline that goes along with the village, which I haven't played many of the more recent Harvest Moon games, but the earlier ones didn't really have much of a plot. It was mostly just about raising your farm and getting married and stuff like that. But there's actually like a little storyline in Stardew Valley, which is kind of cool.
Do you know any other friends that are playing the game right now at all?
I do.
Because I know you're playing it. Is Travis? Because I'm not actually sure. I don't remember if he's playing it or not.
I believe Travis bought it.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much he's sunk into it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have at least 3 other friends that are playing it.
Oh, and you bought it for your mom too, right?
And then also my mom plays it. Yeah,
that's
a
great.
fan of the original Harvest Moon.
Oh yeah. It's a good one. It's funny. Like I like Harvest Moon, but I never got into it because I didn't have it. But I love the idea of it, and I'm really looking forward to Mac port so that I can start playing it because I'm mostly on my Mac and I don't really boot into Windows very much. And the kind of like and Stardew Valley is the kind of game where you kind of want to sit on your MacBook, on your laptop on the couch and play it. You know what I mean? So, but I heard you can actually play it with controller too. So do you know if the controller support's any good?
I have not tried it.
I know it has.
I know it has controller support. The kind of thing I've been seeing online is people talk about that the keyboard and mouse is better for things like working on your farm, crafting, stuff like that. But then the controller is a lot better when you're fighting monsters in the mines or.
Okay, question about that. So
yes.
Dungeoning and mines and all that, like, when can you start going into the mine to like attack stuff? And is that fun? Is it a cool aspect of the game?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's not. I would not call this a combat-focused game by any means. It's pretty basic, hack and slash mechanics. There's not a lot of strategy to the fighting, but it's cool enough. And the mines are. Well, I don't want to give any spoilers, but you get access to the mine pretty early, and you'll be notified when you have access to it in the game.
So it's like a day 10 or something. It just kind of opens.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, cool. The world kind of opens up to you as you play, so that you're not inundated with stuff right off the bat.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. That sounds really good. So how about in terms of story? Like, is it good? Is it fairly open, or do you think it might get repetitive with a couple playthroughs?
It is not a very deep story. It's more of to give you kind of like an overall goal, something to work towards if you want to do more than just work on your farm or stuff like that.
So in terms of
it's entirely optional.
Oh, good.
Yeah, even if you want to completely ignore it, you don't have to do any of it.
So as far as end game goes, are there end game scenarios? I mean, it'll probably keep going after that, but are there end?
There's no end to the game. You can keep playing indefinitely if you want to. As far as like content-wise, I would imagine that after a while you'll run out of stuff to do unless you're just trying to build the supreme optimum money-making farm or something like that.
Right. I saw that your farm is doing pretty well. How much money are you making per? How much money is?
Yeah, I mean it varies, like how. What crops are coming in and stuff like that, but I average probably at least 5,000 to 10,000 per day.
That's
crazy. Which is crazy.
That's good.
And the really funny thing is I'm not even trying like to optimize my farm or anything like that.
That's cool.
Now, having said that, there's like the next house upgrade is like 50,000 coins, so there's plenty of stuff to spend your money on, but getting money is actually not that hard in the game.
Good. Well, that's really good, because that's really good that that's all natural. It sounds really great, and I'm looking forward to playing it sort of when it comes out for Mac. Cool. So let's move into our next topic. So GDC was recently around, Game Developer Conference, as well as a bunch of other tech conferences, and this year the big thing in gaming so far has been VR. We got Google Cardboard, which I have, and it was funny because White Boy Slim was like, "What's Google Cardboard?" Well, I'll explain. So, your regular VR glasses. Google Cardboard is made of cardboard, actually. So what you do is you put your smartphone in here, screen size that way, and then you put your face here, your eyes go here, and then and then you open the Google Cardboard app basically, and I'll show you how stupid this looks because VR looks really dumb. And then you go like this, and it uses kind of like your head tracking to put your phone different places. One of the cool things about Google Cardboard is it's its own app, and you can run other apps and like other things inside of it. I used Google Cardboard. It's actually really neat to tour like the Eiffel Tower with this thing. Now you can definitely feel that it's cardboard on your face and everything. But when you look up and you look around, it's actually really kind of cool if you've got a nice screen. It's kind of like a really inexpensive way to kind of get into VR-like stuff. So that's one of them, kind of like the intro level. There's Samsung's Gear VR, Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, so Valve stuff, Microsoft HoloLens, which isn't really VR, it's kind of VR-ish, and then PlayStation VR. I was kind of curious what we think about it, and if it's something that we're looking at getting relatively soon or maybe in the next year or two. What do you think, Script? VR, what do you think about it? Something you're looking at getting soon? No? Yes?
Yeah, totally. I only have experience with the PlayStation VR. I played it at PAX. I think it was PAX. I can't even remember where I played it, but it was really cool. Like, it blew me away, and I'm even more excited now that they've announced the price being $399. That's an awesome deal. Of course, you do
PlayStation
need to,
VR is the cheapest VR solution out there right now. So
yeah, they don't tell you, or at least they didn't initially say. I think they've announced it now that they're going to have a bundle, like a starter bundle or whatever, which is going to include the PlayStation camera, which is necessary for the PlayStation VR experience, and a Move controller.
Right. So I think with all that, it might bump up to the $500 maybe, something like that. What do you think?
Probably pretty close. Yeah. But I don't know that the Move controller is necessary. The game that I played, which was Riggs, it's kind of like a 3v3 combat sports basketball thing. It only required the DualShock 4 and the PlayStation VR. It didn't require a Move controller, so I don't know. But I don't have a camera, but I do have Move controllers, so I'm looking forward to getting it, and I hope to get it this year. I would really be excited about getting it this year.
Yeah.
What I played of it seemed solid. The visuals seemed solid. I know that they've announced an updated PS4 that they're supposed to release this year, maybe. Like the PS4.5 or PS4K, whatever they're calling it.
Yeah, the PS4K. That's an interesting thing. Like, yeah, that should be cool. But one of the nice things about the VR, Sony's VR, is that you just need a PlayStation 4.
Right.
You don't need to build like a super bling PC. You just plug it into your PlayStation 4, basically.
Right. It is at least as far as the three top-end competitors, PlayStation VR, Vive, and Oculus Rift. The PlayStation VR, what I understand, is it's the least expensive, but it's also the least powerful as far as resolution specifically.
I think that I'd expect that, yeah.
Yeah, and I've heard that like I said, that's the only one that I've tried, but I've heard that the Vive is really nice to look through. So I would be interested in checking it out, but there's no way I could afford it. And even if I could, my computer could never. I'd have to spend $2,000 just to get invested, just to start getting into that. And
well, it'll be like $2,000 for the PC to run the Vive or the Oculus, and then it's another $1,000 or whatever. I don't know, $800 for the system itself. So I agree with you that on the PC side of space, it is prohibitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my PC would melt if I tried to bring like an Oculus or something near it. It's VR, man. I want to try that so badly, but it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. I don't have any kind of PlayStation 4. I don't have a PC powerful enough to run it, so maybe I'll get lucky and I'll have a package with the new PlayStation 4 and the VR headset, or maybe I can just pick that up. That might be my best route, but no, it's something I desperately want, but I'm probably going to have to wait till prices start coming down or until I'm looking to upgrade my computer anyways, and then looking to getting one then.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I want to get some VR, something or other, but there's not a whole lot of games that know that I could even play on there. But I have played some really cool like proof of concept games or just demo games on the Oculus with one of my friends made, and it was a crazy amazing experience. It was so great. With that, probably not going to be getting one right now. If I'm going to upgrade anything, it's going to be my gaming PC first, and then I'll try to get one that's VR ready, and then get VR at some point when there's some killer app or some reason. But probably not.
Even aside from the stuff that's supposed to be VR native, the way that it's supposed to handle your existing content, at least, and I believe that they're all doing this, but the PlayStation VR, they're saying that you can play your existing games with the VR headset, and it'd be basically like a virtual projection. So it's great for maybe people that are looking to get high-end TVs, but maybe don't want to get or don't have the space for a high-end TV. They can get the VR headset, and then all of a sudden they've got this massive screen in front of them, virtual of course, and just the idea of maybe watching a movie that way and sitting in a virtual theater with like your friends who are also wearing a VR headset that maybe live in Alaska or some crazy place. Those kinds of things sound interesting, and I think I read today that NASA is working on a virtual space for Mars, and they're gonna. I think they're working on it for Oculus, or maybe it's Vive, one of the two, and then they're gonna expand support to the other VR headsets. Hopefully, that includes the PlayStation VR, because that would be awesome to hang out Matt Damon style on Mars and.
I think that would
be awesome.
Farm potatoes, you mean? But yeah, that would be awesome. That would be great, and I really hope the content for VR isn't really stuck in certain silos. I mean, I know some will, but I hope most of it's made with all the kind of headsets and pushed to all the places. But yeah, and if I was going to grab something, I probably would get the HTC Vive. It seems to be kind of in terms of just overall head tracking and tech, it seems to be the leader of the pack as far as I'm concerned. But there's one thing about VR that I think that once they solve it, it'll I don't know. I think the world is the oyster of VR, but you still have to have a cable to plug into it, so that can get weird because and so hopefully someday they'll be able to beam either something to it or the processing power will just be done in headset. I imagine that's probably eventually where we're going to go. You'll have a phone that'll basically, or a computer that will essentially be in there that'll handle all the processing or whatever. But it's got to process two separate eyes, and that's non-trivial amount of resources. That's why you need like a CPU, you need like a crazy desktop or whatever. So I'm curious what we think. If is VR going to become huge, or is it just going to be kind of a niche thing? Or do we think that maybe it'll be something in the middle where it'll, just kind of be kind of because I think some people are thinking that VR is going to maybe replace monitors at some point or whatever, you know what I mean? That most of our, we just slide on some glasses or whatever, and that's what we do. I'm curious what you think of it. Is VR going to become the next big thing? What do you think, Boy?
I don't know. I kind of hope it does, because it in theory it sounds freaking awesome. I really hope that it becomes, almost ubiquitous, so that it's just everywhere, and it's awesome. Like, that would be cool. That will probably not be happening anytime soon, just because of cost. And it's not something everybody can do. But I don't know. Maybe over time, it'll take over. I don't know if I would want it to replace like my regular TVs or monitors or something, like, because if I have a TV on, I can also be doing stuff in the room. I can fold laundry while watching a TV or show or something. I can't do that if I've got a VR headset strapped to my face.
You could try.
Well, plus you have to buy headsets for your whole family too. But
exactly, yeah. So I don't know if it's going to replace all the screens in our lives, but I would like to see it maybe be an accessory to all the screens. Yeah, that could be cool.
Have either of you guys read Ready Player One?
I haven't.
I have not.
I've heard good things about it.
So it's basically that. It's all of the goings on in that book happen in a virtual space, and I think the thing that I'm most excited about, and the reason why I think that it will actually take off like huge in a way that 3D never really had the capability of doing, is because, kind of like what Tim was saying, it's like it's just so exciting. It's like, so there's so many things about it that stimulate these fantasies about the possibilities of the future and what we could do with VR. I mean, 3D was a flat image that could kind of reach out to you, but that was about it. There was nowhere for 3D to go. It was just kind of TV 2.5 or 3D.
Yeah, I guess that's a really good point, right? I mean, it's just a better way to watch TV, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but with the VR, yeah. I think it'll be huge. I think that it'll get smaller. Obviously, every technology tends to get smaller, and I think you're right. I think it will end up being powered by the unit itself, if not some. The scary part is if it actually goes biomechanical, and then it's like you're jacking into your. We really are living in the Matrix.
Well, it either beamed wireless to the set itself, or it will, or it'll be processed in the set itself. You know what I mean? So I think whichever you can do quicker. You know what I mean? I think wireless is pretty quick, but even if I've got 5G in my house, you can't transmit to signal. Right. You know what I mean? MPEG 4 video is not quite the same thing.
Right.
You know?
So basically, they'll have like a CPU built into like a neck pillow. You'll wear a neck pillow, or like a shoulder, like some sort of shoulder brace or something, or a belt, Batman utility belt that has all of your battery power and your CPU powering your VR headset. I don't know. I think VR has a lot behind it to give anyone a reason to geek out over the possibilities, and I think that alone is gonna at least propel it into. I mean, people that know what they're doing, getting excited about, like me geeking out of it's not gonna do anything. I just want it to come. I want it to get here so that I can, be a consumer and take advantage of it. But as far as like the engineers that are getting excited about it, I'm really interested to see what they come up with. I'm fascinated.
Yeah, I agree. So I think this is kind of what's going to happen. People were doing this, hunching over a computer, and then we got the ability to do this, right? All right. And now we're going to be able to do this, you know what I mean, with these VR goggles. And then eventually it's going to be in your glasses, or there'll be a smaller VR goggle headset or whatever. And then eventually, like what you said, John, it'll be, the old Matrix zip hole in the back or whatever, you know what I mean? Which I
want the blue pill. I want the blue pill.
Which I think I'll stop at. I'll just put on yield glasses, you know what I mean? But I'll be one of the last old people that don't do that. But I think that's eventually where it's going to go, because I think everyone agrees all the time at night that this is what they want. You know what I mean? Because that's all you do, right? You're basically doing this. It's just, so you're going to get it. You're going to get the ability to do that in a new way, and then it'll be, snug on there. And one of the things that I really like about VR is probably what you're talking about, John, and Ready Player One, where it's virtual communities and stuff like that. I mean, Second Life was interesting, but I think VR, the experience might be better. Like just visiting places, like honestly, just being able to look around at the Eiffel Tower, just with my Google Cardboard, was really cool. It was really, really great, and they had all these places. You just kept going. You're like, oh wow, I'm in New York City, or I'm in here, I'm wherever, and it takes the idea of like a New Year's Eve party at in Times Square to a different perspective. If they were that have VR, if they had sort of a VR, someone beaming that, and you could see people there or whatever.
Oh my God, that would be incredible.
I know, and you don't have to go because
concerts where you're always in the front row.
Exactly. So I'm not sure if gaming is the coolest aspect of VR for me. And plus, Sony's going to do this thing too, where you put on your Sony VR glasses, you drop in a Blu-ray player, and bam, 100-foot television. You know what I mean? They can do that where it looks like you're watching it on a movie screen. That sounds really neat to me. So again, it's maybe not just video gaming for me that's more interesting, or I want to hang out with Tim or John, and then I just put on our VR goggles or whatever. I mean, we can always already do it with FaceTime, which we're already there, or Hangout, right? We're all here together. Imagine, the ability for a room scanner, which they'll happen eventually, right? They'll have a little thing where you drop in your room somewhere. It'll be doing this thing with the video, you know what I mean? And then you'll be there, right? So kind of like a webcam, like a 3D webcam or something like that.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? And it'll be really expensive to start, and then it won't be after a while. Just kind of like what VR is going to be. I imagine in 3 years you're going to see, or 2 years, you're going to see the price of all the VR headsets that are currently out there drop by a couple $100s, which is going to put it within, a reasonable price range for a bunch of people, because you're going to see. I don't know how often we're going to see VR hardware, like VR cycle. I'm not really sure, because we haven't really even seen version 1s come out yet. I mean, we've seen dev kits and stuff. So, yeah. But I think that the sort of evolution of VR is get rid of the cable, do all the processing on it, or have it beam to you, et cetera, et cetera. And those problems are going to be solved through other technology upgrading at the time, which is going to be, wireless technologies faster, or we can just put more processing power on a chip. I mean, they keep releasing, the new Raspberry Pi with even more power. You can do even more power in a smaller space. So I think that as, computing gets faster, then that'll happen. You'll be able to do that in your sort of VR headset, which will be great. So, yeah, I'm not as excited about gaming for VR, frankly. I mean, games are going to be really fun, but I think that everything else is going to be even way cooler. So. Yeah.
So there's our predictions.
Exactly.
We'll watch this video again in a couple of years and see just how wrong we were.
Exactly. Which is fine. I mean, well, I really do think people still want to do this. You know what I mean? It's just.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
I know, exactly, right. All right, I think that's everything, so I want to thank everyone for joining us today for the Cheerful Ghost Roundtable. The Cheerful Ghost Roundtable is an open discussion with people from the Cheerful Ghost community about awesome stuff in gaming, brought to you by cheerfulghost.com. We'll start things off and end it out with White Boy Slim. White Boy Slim, where can people find more of you online?
You can find me at Twitter at WhiteBoySlim or at cheerfulghost.com/WhiteBoySlim.
Script, where can people find more of you online?
cheerfulghost.com/script or johningles.tumblr.com.
Awesome. And you guys can find me at Twitter at jdodson, or you can find me at cheerfulghost/jdodson. All right, thanks everyone. Have a great one.